please, please, please start that now. How can you do it? What are some tips to do that? If you set yourself up for success before surgery, one or the other, you either setting yourself up for success or you're setting yourself up for failure. And let's call it what it is. It's lazy. I'm just being lazy at that point. The only person that can hold you back from your success is you. This is the Gastric Life Podcast, and I'm your host, James Pugh. Pew, 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 pew. I'm a nerd. Welcome to the podcast. I hope you're doing well. My name is James Pugh. If this is your first time here, make sure you hit the subscribe button or make sure you are following the podcast so that you can stay up to date with anything that is, well, nerdy, gastric, or anything like that. And, well, I'm here to encourage, motivate, and inspire you to be your best self when it comes to health. If that's losing, hold on a second. Hey, get down. Like I said, they're my kids. He's about to get up there at the top, and, well, there's a banister right there. I don't want him to fall over it. Yeah, that's staying in the podcast. So anyways, I hope you guys are doing great. And, well, let's do this. Hey, guys, just to let you guys know, if you didn't realize this already, I'm not a freaking doctor. I'm not no kind of fitness advisor or a nutritionist. So whatever you hear here is things that I've done to myself, and, well, there's just work for me. Please, please, please always check with your doctor, physician before you do anything that I say, because at the end of the day, I am human, and, well, I didn't get a PhD or anything like that. I could probably not spell PhD. Let's get into the podcast. So I remember one of the first times that I ate out. We ate out. We did something small, and we went to Bono's. And this is just one story amongst many that I have had this issue with, but we're going to use Bono's today. And, well, I went there and I got a kids meal. The kids meal consists of 2 pieces of chicken and a side. And, well, the kids chicken, like, I don't understand how they do it at Bono's, kind of like, because the kids chicken is smaller than the normal size chicken. I don't know, like, if they're just not giving steroids to the baby chickens or whatnot before they kill them and eat them. And yeah, we're going there. Hopefully you're not a vegetarian listening to this, because, well, I'm not. Sorry. But yeah, I remember eating, and man, it was freaking delicious. You know, like, after surgery, you've been on a liquid diet for 2 weeks, and then you were on a liquid diet after surgery for like another week and a half, and you finally start to introduce some new food to your system. Now, if you're post-op, you know where I'm going with this, don't you? The food was really good, and, well, I really ate it pretty quick. That's what we're going to talk about today, is eating too fast. Because holy moly, was I not feeling very well after the fact. I just remember eating, and it wasn't even a lot. I don't even think I finished one leg. Because at that time, you can only literally eat a little bit. And I know there's some people out there right now jelly because I can eat chicken, period. Like, I know people that's post-op for 3 years that still can't eat chicken. Let me go ahead and just tell you guys now, I'm not sure how it happened, but I am pretty much able to eat anything. Definitely blessed there, not rubbing it in, maybe a little bit. But yeah, I can eat pretty much anything. So I ate some chicken, and man, was I not feeling well at all. It was like so close to just bringing everything I ate back up to the surface. And I thought I was going to die. You know what I mean? Have you ever had that feeling right after surgery and after eating and stuff? Maybe you have that feeling now. I can have that feeling now. So why am I talking about eating slower and not eating too fast? Well, a couple things. If you're still pre-op, your stomach, if you're getting gastric sleeve, is going to be the size of your thumb after surgery. Yep. There you go. That's what your size of it. And if you eat too fast, what happens is your brain doesn't have time to keep up with your stomach, where you will overeat. And this is a huge issue in the community of gastric patients. We just eat too fast because, well, I remember I talked about this last time. We're just conditioned like that, right? Something that we were conditioned with, something that we've done for our entire life. Really? Like if you've been in this, you eaten too fast because you've done it most of your life, like I was saying, then a couple things that you want to do before surgery is, well, learn how to eat slower. Very first podcasts are somewhere around there. I talked about this a little bit in depth, not too much, but I want to talk about it a little bit more in depth today because we have to understand before we have surgery why it's so important to eat slower. Well, let's start with the basics of, well, again, if you just had surgery, your stomach is either the size of your thumb, or you just had, gastric bypass and you're bypassing your stomach anyways. So you're not able to eat a lot of food. And if you eat really fast, what happens is your brain cannot keep up with your stomach, which in returns you'll overeat. And because of that, you can very easily get sick. So we want to make sure that when we are eating, that we're eating slow. This is something that you need to get in the habit before surgery. If you are pre-op and you have not had surgery yet, please start that now. How can you do it? What are some tips to do that? Well, simple. Put the fork down. This is literally what I had to do. Was I would take the fork and put it down, and I would pick something else up, my phone. I would play with my phone for, however long I needed to play with my phone for. I would scroll through Facebook, I would scroll through YouTube Shorts, whatever it took to make sure that I was eating a little slower when it came to eating. This helped me with the process, the beginning of the process. I also was eating HelloFresh, not a sponsor, wouldn't mind being a sponsor, but HelloFresh was a way for me to start eating slower. Why? Because, well, the portions was smaller. Therefore, I knew when I was done eating, I had no more food. And, well, I wanted to make sure I felt full, so I slowed down in eating. Fun fact, it takes about 20 minutes for your mind to catch up with your stomach. So it's best practice to take 20 minutes to eat a meal, however big, however small it is. If it's, you're taking 20 minutes to eat, you're not going to be able to eat as much, or you will, but you'll feel full way before you, you finish your food if you get a big old plate of food. Now, this is like a tactic that, people do that want to get a lot of calories really fast. This is like competition eaters and stuff. This is why they eat super, super fast, because they're trying to, bypass the actual hunger filling, or the fullness filling, I should say, and just shove it down, And we've all been there. We've gotten a good piece of meat or something like that, and we'll eat it really, really quick. So HelloFresh is a way to do it. Playing with your phone is a way to do it. Having conversation with whoever's at the table with you, or whoever's sitting next to you, your wife, your spouse, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, your grandparent, whoever, your dogs, will help you do this. Again, it's all about putting in the work beforehand, because this is the importance of getting this under control before you go into surgery. Because if you don't have it under control before you go into surgery, what will happen is after surgery, you're already going to want to eat. You're already going to be hungry. You're already going to be like, I want real food. And when you do go to eat, you're going to do it wrong. You're going to eat super fast, and you're going to get sick. I did it right, and I still almost got sick. Never actually threw up. Still got that card under my belt. Haven't threw up yet. got super close one time. I mean, like gagging super close. We don't want to go into details, but it was pork, some dry pork that I cooked actually. But yeah, I haven't thrown up yet because, I pretty much try to keep to the same thing. Why else is it important to get a hold of this before surgery? Why else should you be eating slower before surgery? It all goes back to the right mindset. It all goes back to being prepared mentally as well as physically before surgery. If you set yourself up for success before surgery, if you're able to do that, I understand there's some people that aren't able to do that because they have to get surgery literally for, health reasons. Like, you're like my sister-in-law, shout out to her again. She had to have it because she was sick. Like she literally was sick, couldn't hold anything down. It was bad. And she had to have surgery. And so people like that, I completely understand how they might not be able to get to the right mindset because they didn't even know they were having the surgery. I mean, they had to go get the surgery like that pretty much. But if you are going through the process and the journey, and by the way, if that is something you had to do for health reasons and stuff, and maybe you are now like, I want to take this serious, your journey just starts. You just start your journey then. You don't have to like, just because you didn't, start beforehand and go through it like I did and stuff and make sure everything was done right and this, that, and the other, you are still part of the journey. You're just starting a little bit later. There's nothing wrong with that. What are you doing? Okay. Sorry. I thought he was going to jump up there again. Like, I really thought y'all was going to see, y'all was going to call DCF on my behind if he jumped up there again. He's just over there, like, messing with all my recording shirts right now. Where was I? Thanks a lot, Tucker. Being prepared, mentally prepared and all that is only going to help you succeed after surgery. If you're not prepared for like something like this, like eating slower, it's going to be super easy to fall back into bad habits. It's going to be super easy to start eating more and more and more because you're not eating slower. I still technically struggle with this. This is something that I thought I had a pretty good handle over, right? I do eat slower for the most part, but compared to how slow I ate right after surgery into now, I find myself eating a lot faster. My wife even says it now, like, hey, you ate that pretty fast, didn't you? I'm like, yeah, and I'm suffering for it. But I don't want to fall back into the habit of every single meal I'm eating super fast because all that's going to do is cause me to start slipping back into bad habits. And I'm going to start taking in more calories, more food. My sleeve, it's going to start to eventually stretch because I'm taking in more food. Like there's so many bad things from eating really fast that, we don't want to see that come back to fruition. We don't want to see that come back to the light. So we have to slow down while eating. I just mentioned it. The other thing is stretching the stomach, the sleeve back out, especially for sleep patients. Of course, I'm talking directly to sleep patients right now. You will eventually stretch your sleeve out if you keep going down that route. You can re-stretch your stomach out. Like just because they take 80% of your stomach out on majority of the cases doesn't mean you won't stretch that bad boy back out. You have a sleeve around it. That sleeve is made to flex. It's not made to hold. It's a flexible sleeve. There's depending on how big of a sleeve you got, we'll get into those in a different podcast possibly. You have more give than others and stuff. So you don't want to stretch your sleeve back out. We don't want to stretch our stomach back out. We don't want to be back in the same boat right before surgery. So it's super, super important to make sure that you have your sleeve or your eating habits under control before and after surgery. Some things to remember when you go into this thing and look for when you're eating is, if you're eating too fast, time yourself. This is how I started realizing I'm eating too fast. I step back and I look. Remember, like I said, anytime that You are stalled on losing weight. You're thinking you're starting to eat unhealthy. You're tired all the time. You have to step back and look at the situation to see what's going on. This is what I did is I started looking and saying, man, I ate that meal in 5 minutes. I'm supposed to take 20 minutes to eat a meal. Man, I took that cheese Danish down in about 20 seconds. My point is, you got to take about 20 minutes to eat a meal, right? So step back, look at yourself, and if you're not doing that, then figure out how to adjust, figure out how to get back in the mindset, figure out how to take 20 minutes to eat again. If that's, slowing down, putting the fork down, picking your phone up, whatever the case may be, do that. Another thing about eating too fast is, and this is a big thing, and listen, I want you to listen to me right now. If you're anything like me, stop making big plates. Let me say that again. Stop taking full plates to where you're eating at. Stop taking more food than you know you can eat. Right? Your eyes bigger than your stomach type thing. Stop it. Why is this so important? Because if you're eating too fast, you're going to eat more than you're supposed to eat. And you're going to stretch your sleeve, or you're going to mess up and you're going to get sick because you had bypass and you're eating too fast and this, that, and the other. Stop it. I only say that because I've had that a few times where I would take too much food back to the table and I would eat more than I should have ate because I've been overweight for 20 plus years. So this is just in my everyday routine, right? If you have been overweight your entire life, you're probably doing things that you weren't supposed to do to get to that state anyways. Overeating, eating unhealthy, drinking a lot of fluids, etc., etc., etc. You're not going to change overnight. I say that every single podcast, I feel like now. It's a journey, so you have to set yourself up for success. If you're not setting yourself up for success when you start to eat, when you start the journey, after the surgery, pre-op, post-op, in the moment op, you're setting yourself up for failure. It's one or the other. You either setting yourself up for success or you're setting yourself up for failure. Which category do you fall in? Which category do I fall in? And when we fall into the failure side, do we recognize that and say, oh, I need to fall into the success side more? How can I get there? What can I do? Don't take so much food to the table. If you're overeating and you're eating really fast, right? This is why it's so important to measure out food. I don't do this every single time by any stretch of the imagination. I will a lot of times, but no, I don't do this a lot. I do this sometimes, but I won't measure my food out every single time. But I don't take a whole lot of food to the table either. I take enough to where I know I'm going to be full, and sometimes I overtake. I take it more, be honest, probably more than I should, to be honest, like just to be perfectly honest. So, while I'm talking to you guys today, I'm totally talking to myself right here for right now, setting myself up for success, not taking all the, I'll give you a perfect example for me anyways, leftovers. Yeah. See, when I pack up leftovers, we'll have Taco Tuesday. And on Taco Tuesday, I measure out what I eat. 4 ounces of meat, 2 ounces of beans, and then I do the tortilla shell and the tortilla soft shell because I do a double decker. I do one double decker. Yeah, about 6 ounces with the meat and the protein and all that, and everything else. We always have leftovers. Every single time we have leftovers. So what I do is I'll just pack everything in one bowl, the leftovers, and put it in the refrigerator. And when I come back to eat it, I'll warm it up and take the whole thing to the table with me in the morning or, when I go to eat it. And well, it's way too much food. Way too much food. I know this. And it's just easier Hey, listen, it's just easier to do that way. Now, what does that actually sound like? Let's put all the BS to the side, you know, and let's call it what it is. It's lazy. I'm just being lazy at that point. I just don't want to measure it out. I don't want to take this. I don't want to take the 2 minutes. You know what I mean? The 2 minutes to measure it out. So I'd rather take the entire thing to the table with me. And what happens is I will overeat if I'm not careful. I have gotten really good, not the toot, I have gotten really good at putting the fork down and setting the food to the side for 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. If I realize I've eaten a lot really fast, I have done that. And, it's all about that 1% better rule, right? 1% better. How can we get 1% better? This week, mine is going to be not taking too much food with me to the table. So I won't eat more than I should. All right. So now I want to talk to the person that has been overeating. The person that is eating too fast and have been overeating for a week, for a day, for a month, maybe for a year, maybe years. All right. You're listening to this right now because, well, you're trying to get encouragement for one. You're trying to come up with a game plan for two. And you don't want to be where you are at right now. The only person, I say this, it seems like a lot because it's true. I say this on just not just on this podcast, but in everyday life. The only person that can hold you back from your success is you at the end of the day. What I mean by that is you have to put the foot forward. You have to take the step for success. No one's going to do it for you. No one's going to make it happen for you. Matter of fact, there is way more people probably out there. Let's just be real for a second, that want to see you fail than succeed. So you have to put your best foot forward and say, I'm going to succeed. Or let me take it back. There might not be a lot of people that are like hoping you fail, but there are definitely a lot of people that are thinking you're going to fail. Let's be real for a second. Anybody, and this is just the truth, anybody that's had the surgery knows there are haters out there that are even like your friends and family that they're not necessarily rooting for you to fail, but they think you're going to fail. Why? Is because so many of all they see is failure when they hear about these stories. All they see is failure when they hear about people that get gastric bypass. That's what everybody calls, that don't know gastric bypass. They think it's just a one shoe fits all, and they don't understand how many. There's actually several different surgeries, but they think people fail. They don't understand there's actually like a 70, 80% success rate. Now I have to do some research into like what that period is because, 70, 80% when I looked it up, it seemed kind of high, was good, but I would like to see what the period is on that. But the point is people are going to think you're going to fail because majority of people that they hear about do. You have to prove them wrong. You have to show them that you can succeed. You have to be the person that disproves it. Listen, 1% better. I am going to preach the crap out of that on this podcast probably forever. If you will just commit to 1% better, you will get better. This is not an overnight process. This is not an overnight journey. It took you, especially if you're doing it by, you want to lose weight and you're 300, 400, 500 plus. I saw a guy that was 560 something pounds on Facebook that's down to 225. Like, you talking about inspiration? Ooh, he looked good. He didn't get there overnight. Why am I saying that? Stop beating yourself up. You're going to fail. I say this all the time too. You're going to fail. We're going to fail. We're going to make mistakes. What are you going to do about that? Sorry. What are you going to do when you fall, are you going to get back up? Are you going to keep fighting? Or are you just going to sit there and wallow in your pity? Don't prove the people right that think you're going to fail. Don't prove the people right that are haters that want to see you fail. Don't prove yourself right if you're thinking that you're going to fail. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we can get to those dark places in our life, can't we? Where we don't even think we can succeed, where we don't even think we're going to make it, where we don't even think we can break these habits, where we don't even think we're worth it. You are so worth it. Like you were created with a purpose. You were created for love. And you were created to be your best self. Don't allow the dark thoughts to run you. Look at me in the eye when I say this. You are loved. If you don't have family and friends, I love you. Have a conversation with me. I promise you, I will have a conversation with every single person I possibly can. And if I want the community of people that I've already started building up with this whole shit dig, will. Like, you will find people that love and care about you and would love to help you succeed in every way possible. Health, mentally, every way possible. So don't sit in the darkness. Don't allow that enemy to win. Don't allow these dark thoughts to just clutter your thoughts every single day. When you make a mistake, don't wallow. Am I saying that word right? Wallow in it for very long. Think about it. Think about it in the sense of what can you do differently next time not to make that same mistake, but pick up and keep moving on. Because at the end of the day, that's all we can do. At the end of the day, that's all. We're human after all. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to make mistakes. We're human. Name one human other than Jesus that didn't make a mistake. You know what I mean? Keep fighting. Don't give up. I'm not giving up on you. Don't give up on yourself. Let me know what you need help in. Let me know what you need talked about on this podcast. Maybe it's just this. Maybe you tuned into this just to hear that. And if so, I'm glad you did. What I want to do is close with something. I want to close a little bit differently today. First of all, I want to talk about Facebook. If you're not following me over on Facebook, you're missing out. And what I mean is, I post on there constantly. I try to anyways. Like, I really do suck at the whole social media thing, but I've gotten so much better, especially with the Facebook, because I see the impact it's having. What I mean by that is, I've had several people message me. I don't even know. You know, you know how you get those people that message you, oh, you're doing great, you're such an inspiration, that's cool. But I got people now that message me I have never even met in my life that live on the opposite side of the world. Like, literally today, I had 2 different messages. The first one was like, you are such an inspiration, seeing you post your success and what you have going on with your life on Facebook when it comes to health. And that hit me because I'm still trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do with this gift, really, on, helping people. Like, I'll be 100%. Like, I don't know, like, if the podcast route is the route that I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know. I have such a bigger impact on Facebook than I have on YouTube. Now, I keep being told by my buddy, I need to post this podcast elsewhere. I just haven't yet because I just don't know if this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Part of me thinks I'm supposed to just do like inspirational, smaller clips of just like quick, punchy, motivation stuff to help people out versus maybe long form content like this, like super long, like podcast content. And the other person, it was somebody else reached out to me and saw the success that me and somebody else actually had on Facebook. They knew somebody from we used to go to church. Actually, one of our old youth leaders, um, and she wanted to ask questions. She was super curious about how it works, the procedure, and she was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about it. What are some of the first steps?" So I love seeing that. I love people reaching out and wanting to, that are curious and ask. Again, I'm not no kind of doctor or anything like that, but to be able to like point them in the right direction and to be able to be there for them when they do need the help and when they do have the questions where they can just literally reach out to me, where you could literally just reach out to me through DM on Facebook and ask me a question. It's cool. So make sure you follow me over on Facebook. I want to hear from you about this podcast too. I want honest opinions, honest thoughts and stuff. Like, you know, is this something that people want to see? Is this something that you're actually into and stuff? You know, or is it like you can take it or leave it? I don't know what I'm doing yet. I haven't figured it out. I will say that, for the people that have watched it, some people seem to like it. So I do, it does motivate me to kind of keep going, but I'm still trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing here. If it's podcasts, if it's other kind of videos on YouTube, what the case may be, I just want to help and I want to serve. The only way I can do that is by having you guys feedback. So let me know in the comments. Reach out to me on Facebook. Just look my name up, James Pugh. Plus it's linked in the description if you want to head down there and check it out. Also, what's linked in the description are simple ways to support me and the journey and stuff. I got different things like cookies and protein shakes and protein cookies. Let me be specific about that. And different things that I use on a daily basis pretty much that I recommend. It's not things that I wouldn't recommend. It's things I definitely recommend. So if you're looking for like some kind of snacky stuff for being on the bariatric diet and stuff like that, definitely check all those links out below. And as always, guys, you are loved. Keep fighting a good fight. And I'll see you guys in the next podcast. Pew out.